Welcome to this edition of The Hill with April Ryan. There's a lot to talk about. Let's get right to it. President Biden is heading to Baltimore. He wants to see firsthand efforts to dismantle and remove the Francis Scott Key Bridge in the wake of the devastating accident last week. Crews are working around the clock to open up the channels of the Port of Baltimore. The port has a huge impact on not just the Baltimore economy, but the national and global economy.
President Biden will travel to Baltimore on Friday to visit the collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge, meet with state and local officials, and get on the ground look at federal response efforts.
Maryland Governor Wes Moore says if the port isn't fully operational soon, the potential disruption to the supply chain in the Baltimore area and nationally could mirror the problems experienced during the COVID pandemic. Moore will tour the devastated area with the president. He says he's focused on the job at hand, but he is concerned that Republicans may be more concerned with scoring political points and opposing the president's pledge to fund the reconstruction of the Key Bridge.
Do not allow this to delve into some partisan conversation or a partisan vote. Take the same type of frame of it doesn't matter. What matters right now is that there are people who put you in office who are relying on you to lead. And I'm thinking about what's happening right now in the state of Maryland is we have led now this coalition of local elected officials, federal delegation, who are all our General Assembly, who are all in lockstep. And by the way, that's Democrats and Republicans. We've got our entire federal delegation, Democrats and Republicans, who are all moving along the same lines. I'm just asking that our Congress can follow that same type of example and really move with a sense of urgency that the people of this country are really asking them to right now.
The White House also spoke on the personal attacks on the governor and Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott, who has been called the DEI mayor by conservative groups.
But they've been under attack. There was the DEI comment on the mayor. There's been other really misguided, misinformed, just awful statements that have been made. And those are wrong, and those are baseless, and we cannot be distracted here. Are they racist statements? Look, what I can say is they're wrong and they're baseless. And I think that goes pretty far, right? And let's not forget, 6 people lost their lives. 6 people lost their lives.
Marc Morial, the head of the National Urban League, is focused on securing minority contracts for the rebuild project at the Key Bridge and the Baltimore Port. Morial explains how this will work.
We are not going to be deterred by dog whistle politics, foghorn politics, and an effort to create something that is quintessentially American, which is what diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is all about equal opportunity. It's all about everyone being created equal and having the same rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. A quintessential American principle gets, if you will, sullied and smeared by the agents of white supremacy.
Morial says the premise of his proposal is based on the 1964 Civil Rights Act, which is still fully intact. Morial has talked with Governor Moore about the proposal. The governor told theGrio he supports the idea considering Baltimore is 61% Black.
And so keeping a very clear eye on ensuring that our MBEs, our WEs, our veteran-owned businesses, that they are getting a fair and representative portion of these contracts that are billing out is going to be something important that we're going to continue working on together with folks like the Urban League.
The plan mirrors what the Obama Foundation is doing in Chicago, where 51% of the facility is being completed by minority-owned contractors. And finally, on the global stage, Congresswoman Barbara Lee and Senator Cory Booker were among several congressional leaders just returning from Sudan. They were visiting refugees forced to flee their homes as a result of the conflict of the Sudanese civil war. Their goal to bring more attention in Congress to issues on the African continent, especially among members of the Congressional Black Caucus. And that's it for another edition of The Hill with April Ryan. Tune in next time right here for more news and information for us and about us. Until next time, peace.